Hi everyone and welcome to Everyday Conversations. My name is Mau and I'm here to show you a recipe or two that you can use on special occasions, on weekend lunches and stuff. So I'm going to show you later on how to make my porchetta, my version of porchetta, and for dessert, tiramisu. So let's go ahead and do tiramisu first. Because it's always better, well, to make your desserts first so that the flavors can infuse and have time to chill in the fridge or whatnot. So let's start with tiramisu. As you can see here are the ingredients. We have eggs, cream cheese for lack of mascarpone. I don't have mascarpone, so I'm substituting it with cream cheese. Castor sugar, half a cup of castor sugar, and then 2 tablespoons additional of castor sugar. We also have espresso over here. Of course, some cognac. We also have all-purpose, this is whipping cream, 1 cup, and this is also 1 cup of cream cheese. We have our cocoa powder, dark chocolate for toppings, and lady fingers. So let's proceed. First, let's separate the eggs. We will need 3 eggs. This is for our white, and this is for our egg yolks. Shall we? So this is how I usually separate my eggs. You really have to get your hands dirty. Well, at least for me. And notice when I crack my eggs, I crack it on a flat surface so as to avoid shells from getting in and popping the yolk. 2 eggs and the last one. Oops, again. Oh, and by the way, my hands are clean, and before we proceed, I will need to wash my hands again. So, here are the yolks. We're going to add the sugar. This is the half cup of castor sugar. Mix it, combine it. And we are going to cook it on top of simmering water. This is what is called a zabayon, to avoid salmonella, because raw eggs could be bad sometimes. So we're waiting for it to turn to a lighter color. Make sure that the water is not touching the bottom of the bowl. Otherwise, you'll risk having scrambled eggs. Now, turn off the heat. At this point, notice that it's lighter now than we first started with the egg yolks. We can go ahead and add cream cheese, or if you have mascarpone, go ahead and add it to the egg yolk mixture. Let's put this down here. And we mix. Okay, so what we're trying to do here is remove all the lumps. We'll need a little bit of grease, elbow grease here. And we add the whipping cream. Let's put a splash of cognac. Traditionally, tiramisu is done with marsala, but I couldn't find that. Cognac is a good substitute. Also amaretto, but I left my amaretto that Micah and Rashid gifted me over the holidays. I left it in our home in QC. So this is half an ounce of cognac. And then we can set this aside. Let's do our coffee. again with a cognac. It really depends on you, but here I'm gonna use 1.5 ounces. 1.5. Mix it. This is where we will soak the lady fingers later on. Okay. Set it aside. Always keep your workstation clean. Now we go to our egg whites. What I'm going to do here is to make it stiff. When your egg whites reach this foamy stage, that's when we start adding your sugar a little at a time. So in each addition, make sure the sugar is dissolved before adding in the next batch. Check if it's stiff. Okay. Then we are going to combine these two. You're going to fold in the egg whites to the egg yolk mixture. Or in half first, and then gently fold. It's a rule of thumb to have the heavier mixture be at the bottom, and then you fold in the lighter mixture, in this case the egg whites. So you want to be very gentle because you don't want to knock off the air that you put into the egg whites earlier by beating it. Okay. By adding the egg whites and making it fluff like this, it will give your tiramisu a lighter texture. Because sometimes some tiramisus can be a little heavy. This one, because of the inclusion of beaten egg whites, it's gonna be light. So this is how you fold. Scrape outside, bring it down. That's it. And now we're ready to assemble our tiramisu or your espresso on a shallow dish like this one, because we're going to soak our lady fingers here. And then these are the lady fingers that I got from SNR. I also do, you can find this one, you can use Broas, local lady fingers, or even Mamon Tostado. I use that also. So it depends how many we're going to put. It depends on your dish. This is quite a small dish, so let's see. And when we dip our lady fingers, should count 1 to 3, so don't over soak it. So 1, 2, 3. That should be good. There. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm on to my next pack of lady fingers. So then we will add the cheese mixture. I'm adding half of it because my dish is not too deep. It's somewhat a shallow dish, so we will probably have just 2 layers. And tiramisu at least have 2 layers. And with an offset spatula, level the cream. Right there. And get your chocolate, grate it on top. I forgot to mention in the beginning of the video that the espresso needs to be cooled because you don't want to turn your lady fingers into mush. It has to be al dente but moist. Okay. There. And let's pour this on top. I'm going to show you another way to serve this, like a different kind of presentation. This is for individual serving. You can put it in a nice glass like this one. Now we're ready to top it with more chocolates. This is dark chocolate. You can go crazy with it. Let's add some here as well. Dusting of cocoa powder. We will now proceed in making my version of porchetta, and these are the ingredients. So this is pork belly. You can get this in the store, in the supermarket. It usually comes packed already or bundled up in a butcher's twine, but I have to remove it. And it's called lechon belly. So you go ahead and check out your local supermarket. We also have, I think this is 2.5 kilos. And this is bacon, smoked bacon. We also have sage for the aromatics. Sage, leeks. We will be using this entire lemon, the zest and the juice. We have garlic powder, oregano, dried thyme, sea salt, and extra virgin olive oil. Some of the tools that we will need, oh, did I mention the pepper? That's pepper. We will be using butcher's twine, scissors, this is for microplane for the zest, spoon to mix everything there, and you see here I have a craft knife, I believe it's called, because we need to score our belly, pork belly. Yeah. And this is how I do it. You have to be careful not to make an incision that's too deep. Otherwise, it will not make the rind crispy. You see that? So I can't stress enough that the pork belly must be really dry because we want that crispy skin when it's done baking. We're doing this again a day before because it needs to dry in the fridge for overnight. So let's proceed with the rub. We have here the garlic powder, granulated garlic powder. And let's put some oregano leaves. 1 tablespoon. That's good. We also have thyme. Another tablespoon. Put some sea salt. 1/2 tablespoon. Mix it all together. And then the zest of 1 lemon. When you're grating the lemon, make sure that you don't grate until the white portion because that will make it bitter. So just light touch. Use a light hand. Using lemon zest brings out the flavor of the lemon more than the juice. Squeeze this. Freshly cracked pepper. Maybe about half a teaspoon or a teaspoon. It's really up to you. In our house, in our family, we like it spicy. It should be good. And extra virgin olive oil, about 2 tablespoons. Give this a mix. Add the sage and the leeks. So what you want to do is group them all together like how you would make a cigar. Roll it like that. And then with rocking motion, cut it with your knife. So knife skills. You want to hold your knife like different chefs do it. I like to hold mine like pinching here below or by the base of the knife. And when you cut, make sure all your fingers are tucked in, because you don't want, this is a sharp knife, you don't want to cut your fingers off. Maybe we'll just use half. Okay. Then you want to cut this in the middle, like so. And then cut again with a rocking motion. Let's do it this way. See, my 3 fingers are tucked in. Alright, going back to the belly. We have to make an incision in the middle. See how sharp this knife is. And you want to cut here, kind of like a notebook. You're trying to make an incision again, a pocket, if you will, for those herbs and spices. On the other side too. Now we're ready to assemble. Stuff the herbs here inside, all the way to the other side. About half of the mixture you want to put inside, and then also half of the bacon. Put it here, and all the way here. Then remaining herb mixture and spices goes in the middle. Right. You want to make sure also that the skin remains clean, because we really need that skin to be dry, again, to make the porchetta very crispy. Finally. And now we're ready to roll. I asked for my husband's help because we need 4 hands to do this. It has to be snug. Okay. This. Okay. Start in the middle, and then here. Towards the end. Yeah, to the other end. Yes. Maybe this part here or over here. Right. This part. Okay. And you want to trim the excess butcher's twine just to make it look neat. And we will wipe this down, the skin, just to keep it dry. So here it is. I'm just wiping it down, patting it dry before we put it inside the fridge, uncovered, overnight. And tomorrow, we are going to bake it for 3 solid hours. Yep, you heard right, 3 hours. But really, in those 3 hours, you're not gonna do anything anymore, but wait for it. Maybe we can do some side dish, but that's it. This is my porchetta. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night. Good morning. This is how our porchetta looks like after spending a night in the fridge. See, still a little moist. So last night I had to turn it once just so I can pat it dry like this. See, there's still moisture. The oven is now preheating to 350 degrees. And I just cut the top off these garlic. There. Now we're ready to pop it in the oven. We are going to flip this so that the underside will also crisp up. Okay. This has been baking for two hours already. And when you bake it, make sure you use a rack over pan so that air will circulate underneath. And this goes back into the oven. While waiting for the porchetta to cook, I'm making some of the elements for the other dishes. Like here, I'm melting chocolate for the tiramisu when we plate it later. And also over here, I've chopped some carrots for the side dish. And I'll be making a sauce later also. So we're going to make our side dish. This is a roasted carrots with honey orange sauce. First with the carrots. When we roast vegetables, you want to drizzle it with oil. In this case, I like using olive oil for the taste. And then salt, oops, salt. It's not a lot. Pepper, give it a toss. This will bake for about 15 minutes in 450 degrees Fahrenheit oven. It's gonna cook fast because of the cut. Cut the carrots into bits. For this sauce, let's start with zesting an orange into a saucepan. Then we're going to use the juice as well. You do this, roll the citrus to get more juice out of it. Cut it, and we squeeze. Then we turn on the heat. Use low heat. And add our honey at this point. This is Rhoda's honey. Just a tablespoon of honey. Let it cook. Does it smell good? Add some sea salt. Just a little. Then let's add 1/3 cup of raisins. And let's put a dash of orange liquor. Just a dash. Okay, a splash, I mean. It's not a lot. We're going to wait for the alcohol to evaporate because that's not gonna make you drunk. And then you want to add butter to finish the sauce. Because we're going to drizzle this also later on when we plate. That's just a tablespoon of butter. And now we're going to make polenta. For polenta, the ingredients are polenta, 1.5 cups. We also have, this is 1 medium onion, finely chopped. About 3 cloves of garlic, minced. Olive oil, salt, pepper, we have chicken stock, and butter, and Parmesan cheese. So over here, the pan is already heating. Let's put oil. That's about a tablespoon of oil. And then we add first the onions. You want to wet the onions. Help with the sweating of the onions, add some salt. of cornmeal. So they grind it, and it's another Italian dish. You wanna wait for the onions to turn translucent before you add the garlic. That's good. This will be our starch when we start plating. When you start to smell the garlic, it means it's done. You don't want to turn it to brown color because that means it's burnt and it's going to be bitter. At this point, you want to add stock. This is 3 cups of stock. Chicken stock, you can use vegetable stock, beef stock. Add some pepper. So now that the broth or the stock is simmering, we can start adding the polenta. And you want to continue stirring as you add it to avoid lumps. Again, it's 3 cups of stock and 1.5 cups of polenta. This is going to cook really quick, maybe about 10 minutes. So total time of cooking it is 15 minutes. So yeah, you want to be careful because polenta will really splatter. See? And just like that, it's done. But you want to finish it off with butter, around 2 tablespoons of butter, unsalted butter. I had to add another cup of chicken broth because it was becoming too dry. So this is the consistency that we're looking for. And the final touch is grated Parmesan cheese. This is Parmigiano Reggiano. I already turned off the heat, so it will cook in its residual heat. Right now we're just waiting for the carrots to cook, to bake in the oven, and after that we're ready to plate. So this is the porchetta and it's done. You hear the crunch. And we rested this for 3 minutes. Nice. See how juicy? You hear the crunch? Now we're ready to plate. I'll be right back. And now we're plating. So this is the starch. We're trying to do the 3 parts of a plate. Divide the plate into 3 parts. On the upper left will be your starch. On the right, the vegetables and protein right here in the middle. Of course, you can also do freestyle, but plating has never been my strength. So You want to create a height like that. A roasted honey glazed carrots. This will go well with the savory pork. So this is tangy and sweet at the same time. And then toasted almond. Sauce. Sauce here. Maybe we add some more. And there you have it. Lunch is served. So let's give it a taste. But I don't want to ruin my plating, so I'm getting from here. What's the sauce? Ready. Here. Mmm. Really good. You should give it a try. Now ready to plate our tiramisu. Moment of truth. Let's see if we can get it. Give it a taste. That looks so good. Oh my god. You can't taste the alcohol at all. It's so good. You should give it a try. I hope this tutorial helped you learn a thing or two about cooking and making fancy meals. So thank you, until next time. Bye.